Good evening, Suman.
Hi, Sam.
Welcome to Jam with Sam, and this is the 27th episode of Indian Networker. So a lot of photographs, a lot of trolling has gone around the net, searching for your
I know,
photos.
I can see that already.
So the idea is to bring out a person, the person's background, the photographs, everything, and all over there. So let's go. Let's go straight to the chase. You were working in Jet, and you were the face of the year 2003. Tell us something about that experience.
Okay, I don't know how I landed up in Jet Airways because my father always wanted me to become a doctor, and he was of the opinion that only doctors and engineers have a reputation. So I think at that point of time, people had that thought, and I completely respect the thought because that pressure that gets built up when you have family around you who are into the same kind of field, it automatically sets an expectation from the oldest child in the family, and that is what happened with me.
Okay.
And I made it a point that I'll be anything but a doctor because I don't know, somehow I could not really gel with those cuts and wounds and blood and all those kind of things, and I used to faint. And I think up till the age of 16, that pressure was already there, and after 18, the pressure completely went away because I left the house.
Okay.
So I was a complete rebel.
Rebel. Okay.
And I decided that I have to do something of my own, and then never looked back, and somehow climbed the ladders of success, and here I am today.
Okay. So coming back to the question, Jet Airways.
Yes. So I landed up in Jet just because I thought that maybe chalo theek hai, one newspaper ad has come and let me apply. Because at that time when I applied in Jet Airways, air hostess was like a very, very, reputed and a very big thing. So this I'm talking about in 1996.
Okay.
So I got the call letter also, and now I was thinking that what am I supposed to do now? I've already got a call letter. So I think now let's go and see what happens there.
Okay.
And then cleared the first round, then cleared the second round, then cleared the final round, and I landed up in Jet. And I would say that it happened by chance, but Jet has been an institution because I never went to college because I was a dropout. But Jet taught me a lot in terms of how to deal with people, how to understand psychology of people, and how to interact with people basically.
Okay.
So, the kind of skill sets that you acquire when you are hands-on with people and you don't really go to the college to learn all those kind of things. I think practical knowledge is the best knowledge that I have received.
Pretty important.
Yeah.
Couple of, I think, 2 episodes back, we had Mahesh Murthy in the same chair, and he had the same thing. At the age of 17, he walked out of his house, and he never looked back. And just today on Facebook, I had just shared about Ernst & Young. They are no longer looking at university degrees to hire people. Because, I don't know, maybe education ruins us or what, I don't know, but they're no longer looking at that anymore. They're taking people also who are just maybe, just passed out and all, because they're saying it's actually the people in the field, like you said, exactly. That's the exact thing which happens over there.
That is why I think both me and Mahesh are very headstrong and we fight every time we interact with each other. So that's
Okay.
a different story altogether.
Okay. Okay. Something about school and college. Have you been a Mumbaiite or you've been out of?
My schooling has been all throughout in Dehradun,
Okay.
and I've been in a convent. I've had a convent education.
Okay.
So my roots are very strong. Although I've never been to a college, but my school, which was St. Thomas,
Okay.
has given me complete education and discipline. And today, if I am a disciplinarian, it is primarily because of my school. So
Okay.
I have very strong value systems because I've been to
Of
that kind of school.
particular. Okay. So what made you get into starting First Impressions and then ICBI? Can you share your journey? What is it that got you into that over there?
Okay. I have been into the education industry after I left Jet
Okay.
Airways.
Okay.
And there I realized that we have to see something which connects grooming and personality development, because they are two different parameters of something called an individual.
Correct.
So when we say that we had to bridge a gap, so there was some sort of a soul searching that was required. And I was thinking of starting something of my own. This was in about 2008.
Okay.
Yeah. So I realized that let me look at something which is not available in India. And after doing a research for almost a year, I stumbled upon image consulting and did a lot of research, spoke to a lot of image consultants who were there in the US and in the UK, and then realized that I got some of the answers which were not available with most of the people.
Okay.
With this lady called Judith Raspan.
She's supposed to be the authority on image
Yes.
consulting.
So she's one of the most senior image consultant in the world, and out of the 8 CIMs, that is Certified Image Masters, in fact now 10 Certified Image Masters,
Okay.
she's the first one.
Okay.
So she gave a lot of answers. She also told us that how does image management and image consulting help you psychologically and come out of a lot of issues that are related with self-esteem and self-confidence. And that is when both me and Rakesh felt that this is something which should be brought to India.
Okay.
And a lot of people in India need it. Although we have the desired skills, the capabilities, the qualification, but when we talk about soft skills, when we talk about presentation, this is where people in India lack. And this is the need of the hour. And ever since we've introduced it in India in 2009, we've never looked back.
Look back over there.
Yes.
What is it that which, everybody starts a company, everybody starts something over there. What is it which took you to the next level? Because right now you're the next level. I mean, with Times and all this coming in over there, you're the next. What is it that which got you there? One thing.
Okay, I would say what got us there was primarily the need that came. So when we started, see, you need to understand first is that only when you have providers, only when you have people who are providing some service, you have seekers.
Correct.
Okay, so when we started providing something in the market,
The seekers came.
we started getting the seekers.
Because there was nobody there, there was no formal, kind of institute there available for
Correct.
them over there. Okay.
Correct. So there has to be some sort of a structure to what you're doing in life. So if you're doing certain things randomly, without any structure, without any planning, it doesn't yield that kind of result. So the biggest turnaround was the kind of work that our people started getting. So the business model that we have basically is that we will train you to become an image consultant and you do the work outside with our support. And make money out of it by being an entrepreneur.
Correct.
So this is what started happening, and this is where we realized that now our people are getting a lot of big assignments.
Big assignments and all.
And this was a turning point.
Okay, fantastic. Which is your favorite platform? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
I see a lot of response, a serious kind of a response coming to a lot of. When we also have to segregate that when we talk about fun, it's family and friends time, then it is Facebook. When it is, more of a professional scenario, then it is LinkedIn. So I would say I get the best of both the worlds because my Facebook profile is very, I would say, very personal. You would have also realized. And I have very limited people, largely from the family and friends.
That's what I realize also. Because
Yes.
most of the people, what they do is, students, they come in over there, students become friends, they become friends. So that line, where do you draw that line over there? Okay, this is personal and that is,
So I've drawn that line very categorically. So if you want to be connected with me, and if you're not known to me directly or indirectly, then you have my page, ICBI.
Correct.
But if you're known to me and if I share a comfort space with you, then you are on my page.
On my page. Exactly.
So I keep that segregated.
So thank you for connecting. Okay, what about Twitter?
Twitter, I am there on Twitter and I share a lot of personal information also. At the same time, what I'm feeling, what is my state of mind, what would I like to share so that other people can also benefit out of it.
Correct.
So that is what my Twitter page is. My personal Twitter page is all about.
So your personal thoughts, not the company's thoughts or anything like that?
No.
It's your personal thoughts of it. Okay. And how has LinkedIn worked for you? I mean, a lot of people are, like everybody's on Facebook. The first thing you log in the morning, people are Facebook. The next gentleman coming here is only on LinkedIn. He doesn't have a Facebook profile also. So how is it? How have you made that connection? Or because there's a lot of spam. Like I spoke to 2 people. They said LinkedIn has become a recruiting platform. You only get recruiters over there, and you'll find 5 or 6 good-looking Facebook women and girls sending you requests, and then you go and read over there. Working for some headhunter or something like that. So there's a lot of spam coming over there. So how do you manage that?
See, I also get a lot of unwanted messages which are not required, and I don't entertain them. But at the same time, a lot of business has been coming from LinkedIn.
That. Okay.
And not only for me personally, but at the same time for my organization. So I would say for us rather. So a lot of corporate inquiries, a lot of one-on-one consultation inquiries. So, and a lot of people have also asked me a lot of questions about image consulting as a business.
Okay.
And they have inquired for their family, for their friends, for themselves to do the program. So that way I feel that more of a serious crowd gets pulled by the... In fact, that also depends upon what is the kind of communication that you are sending out, to people. So if you're cracking a joke on LinkedIn, or you're just, copy pasting some information, it doesn't really, make any sense.
It's more of an intellectual kind of...
So you have to basically identify and segregate what are the different platforms and what kind of communication you have to send across, and it definitely talks about your image.
Correct. What about Instagram? I mean, how you explore Instagram as a company as well as personally?
Yes. So I'm already there on Instagram. I have a personal Instagram profile. At the same time, I also have the ICBI Instagram profile. So again, I keep them separate.
Separate over there.
So yes, it's giving results. I'm not very old on Instagram, so I've just started using it a few months back rather.
Okay.
So I think it's doing pretty well. And we've just started exploring the way business is done on Instagram. So that's something which is new.
So right now, just for if you go to Facebook and you do Facebook ads over there, it gives you an option. Do you also want to post to Instagram? And so Facebook ads can run to Instagram also over there. So you basically got to link your Instagram page and your Facebook page put together over there. But Instagram also takes time there are a lot of hashtagging which goes on in that over there. I feel that I've reached about almost 1,000 followers on Instagram in about 2 years or so. Recently, because I'm putting a lot of food photographs, a lot of food bloggers have started following me over there. But it takes time. But compared to Twitter, Twitter is very tough to get followers. I mean, unless you're a celebrity or something or other, it's taken me 8 years to get 4,000 followers. And
so, but you do have strategies to apply.
Yeah, you can do that.
So I do have a social media team. So we strategize, we plan, and we see that how best we can get people.
Something about your family.
Okay, so I have a very unique family. You would have already seen the pictures. So me and my husband, this is a second marriage for both of us. So my kids, his kids, and our kids put together, we have 5 children.
Oh.
So, and we have children like this. So in all sizes. So starting from somebody who's 26-year-old to 24-year-old to 21 to 20 to now
3?
2.5.
2.5.
So we have a nice graph in the family. So now we have an addition. So the one who is 26-year-old also has 8-month-old son.
Okay. Yeah, he got married.
She got married.
Yeah. Okay. So great. I mean, both the kids are going to have fun them together.
Yeah. So they just fought today.
Okay.
Because my husband's daughter is right now, she's just come down. And she's come down with her son. And my son would not like to share anything with the little one. So there's a big fight in the house, and there's a lot of, environment which is very stressful environment, because one is in one room and the other one is not allowed to come in that room. So we are trying to deal with that situation, but it's fun.
Okay, whom do you admire as a person and why?
This was
googly, right?
Okay. Okay, so does it have to be somebody who's known to everyone? Or?
No. It can be anyone. It's your person, maybe your father, or your family, or somebody who's in your business or something like that.
Okay, so there are plus and minuses both, but yes, in terms of admiration, I would say, I've learned a lot from my own husband. So I would say that I admire him for a lot of things that he does and lot of good things that he has in him. So this is the reason. I think that's more than enough.
Okay. Okay. So this is the first time somebody
Let
likes
him
that.
not be so happy,
So
so
happy,
I should not
yeah,
talk about
like-
it much.
Okay. Okay. So now we come to Quick Gun Sam. One witty answer.
Okay.
You have Quick Gun Murugan, so you have Quick Gun Sam over here. Miss Universe.
What am I supposed to do with
One
that?
answer.
Okay.
Good, bad, ugly, anything.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. India.
The best.
Mumbai.
World's best.
World's best. Rahul Gandhi.
Horrible.
You wrote. I saw that image that which you written about him. He requires something over there.
I've
What
written
is
in
it?
my,
Yeah, I saw that
yeah.
cutting over there. But what is it that he lacks, according to you?
What he lacks, I think a lot of leadership quality.
Hmm.
So that is something which, see, he first of all needs some sort of an authority. He doesn't have the authority. Even if he tries to command authority, he doesn't get it.
Hmm.
So it's probably your demeanor, it's probably your body language, the way you carry yourself. By shouting, screaming and agitating, you don't get leadership. So there's much more that is required.
By him.
Some people get it naturally, like Narendra Modi. So
That's the
even
next-
if,
that's
even
the
if he
next-
doesn't make any effort, he still is a leader. So it's just there or it's not there.
So that was the next question. Narendra Modi,
Okay. A born leader.
born leader. So we don't. Hemang Bhai is not come. Na, he would be happy hearing that over there. So we have a BJP guy over there, exam hardcore. So you think that Narendra Modi, does he do his own image? I mean, he's always dressed properly for the occasion. His tweets are like, I mean, you think of it, Russian he has tweeted and Iranian he's tweeted. So you think, does he have a spin doctor working for him?
Yes, he has, and officially he has an image consultant who's working for him.
Okay.
And whenever he goes for any kind of a meeting, any kind of a seminar, see, he's a very image conscious person. And he makes it a point that he has the kind of required authority for certain roles, goals, occasions. And if you see, he's a very, I would say, appearance conscious person. And he dresses up very intelligently. So in some of, I think long back in some article, there was a reference about an image consultant because he had gone, before he became a prime minister, he went to US, he got trained there.
Acha.
And he took complete 1 month training with some image management professional and came back. So it's working for him.
It's working for him. Yeah, he's made a lot of difference over there. I mean, it speaks, it just, I think last month we had Scott had come in over here. So Scott Knox. So he's an American who's been, somebody told him to come to India. India is a land of opportunity. You can come and build 1 million homes in the Kumbh Mela. So bichara aa gaya India, and then that guy says, no, I told you can build, but I don't know where you're going to get the money from. So he's the guy who's built Intel ka fab factory costing $1 billion. He's built the Chicago airport. So I said, what is with this thing? He said that the perception has changed tremendously in US.
Right.
Because the kind of perception which he has brought across, the kind of positive, whatever, leave all the other things behind, but the kind of positive image he's brought over there has made a lot of difference over there, comparatively
Absolutely.
to that over there.
And I think for the fact, the most important and the most positive thing, although I was never a Narendra Modi fan and I still am not a fan, but I do observe a lot of things. Although he is a prime minister, but he is grounded. He's approachable. Unlike Manmohan Singh, who was there earlier, but I think he was a mute prime minister.
Yeah, he couldn't do it.
So even though he would not speak, at the same time, nobody knew what kind of a mindset he has, what would he do, what would he not do. So at least, things are very, very clear, transparent and open in front of people that, what is going to happen. He meets people, he emotes, he talks to people.
It's very spontaneous.
So, that's something which is very important.
Fantastic. Okay, some free advice, so not to charge me for it. Most of the times, women check out other women, for looks. So if my wife finds me looking at some other woman, why are you looking at her? I said, you're looking at her. She said, I'm looking for different reason. What is the jewelry she's wearing? What are the shoes she's wearing and all over there? So do men do the same? And if yes, do they check out? Not women, other men over there. I don't want to get beaten up. And so as a man, do they observe something else in the other guy? Like, what is the kind of, shoes or something else? So you can maybe enlighten
Okay,
us.
so I'll share something which is very, very insightful for all of you, especially men, because this is a male-dominated networking space where I hardly see women around. In body language, you would understand. I don't know if you've ever read this before. Men and women have different kind of vision. So men have tubular vision and women have peripheral vision. So if men see, they see in this form. So that is why you have to see and stare, see and stare, see and stare. So even if you see a wardrobe, you don't get certain things largely because you have a tubular vision.
Okay.
So it's a scientifically proven thing. So it's not funny, but at the same time it is very funny because you would realize that most of the time you are not able to find things. And your wife will go and she would say that you are absolutely useless because it was right there and you were not able to see it. And when you see, it looks as if you're staring. Women also do the same thing, but it doesn't come across as if women are staring because they have a peripheral vision. So they capture that much space in one go. And men capture only this much space, when they're looking at the other person. So when men are looking at something, it looks like they're ogling.
Yeah.
But even though women are ogling, you can't make out because they have that much space to capture at one go. So, poor you. I really can't say much about men. But at the same time, you have a justification now, a very insightful justification that even if you're looking at something and you take a couple of more seconds to do that, you have a valid reason to prove that I am not able to see very clearly.
So all the guys are happy over here, and I'm sure they're all going to line up for consultation tomorrow at your place over
Please.
there. Okay, what next after this?
After what? Going back home?
No, not going back home. After this, in your business?
In my business, the next plan is to go international.
Okay.
So
You're already national. How many
yes,
cities are you in right now?
We are there in about 11 locations.
So these are all your, or are these franchise?
Franchise.
Yeah, franchise.
The model
okay.
is franchise model.
Okay.
Yeah. And we plan to go to Dubai, Malaysia. So the plans are on. So this year, let's hope, fingers crossed. A lot of development is happening in the content, in the way we are going to scale it. At the same time, how soon we can go
about that.
Overseas is the next plan.
So there's a huge, you think there's a bigger market overseas than in India?
We are already getting a lot of inquiries from overseas, especially Dubai. So that is something which we have to look at next. So
that's
fingers crossed.
So you got a strategic investment by Times of India. So can you tell us something about, because a lot of people over here, of course, the P, the fund and all is going to speak next. So can you tell us something about that? How did it happen? Or is it a trade secret or something there?
No, there is no trade secret.
So
I mean, Times of India is no secret. And at the same time, we have been telling this to the whole world that they have invested with us, and we have subsidized advertising because of Times of India being our equity partner. So at the same time, I would say that they have also been very helpful in terms of having their entire set of people advising us on what could be the strategy, and the brand capital team has always been very helpful. So we go and have meetings with them. At times they come down and they tell us that what should be the next step and how do we scale up the entire business. So we've developed a very good personal relationship with them. So whenever we need any kind of assistance in terms of asking for any kind of advice, they've always been there. In fact, a lot of strategies are discussed with them. And they tell us that, how to go forward with the entire thing. So that's been really great with them.
Okay. Thanks for sharing that over there. Okay. Closing with a word of advice to all the handsome entrepreneurs over here. So, you can catch them later.
Okay. I would say that the most important thing is that you need to understand that what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and why. So once you have the answer for all these things, it is easier for you to manage your image, because in today's world, image management is something which is very, very essential. So I'm not here to market my brand, but at the same time, you would realize by the end of the day that if you don't manage your image, you're left far behind. So all the best to all the handsome entrepreneurs, and wish you all the success.
One quick question over there is, they have this, the first impression is the last impression. So is it the first time the person maybe what is it that a person sees first in that? If you can,
So,
since you give such an interesting thing about a tubular vision and all, like that's opened our eyes more. So if you can share something about that over there.
See, first of all, one needs to understand that what is image. So image is you in the eyes and minds of people. So basically what people see, what people observe is what they see instantly about you. So in the initial times, people used to say that, people form a first impression in first 30 seconds, which has now become 3 seconds.
Oh.
So at the blink of an eye, when people see you, they form an opinion, they form a perception about you. So without you even opening your mouth, the way you have been packaged, the way you carry yourself, the way people see you, they've already formed an opinion about you. So it is not, I would say, something which is very dangerous, because first impressions can be very, very dicey. Because it is not just an opinion, it is a decision that they form in the mind about you. And let me tell you that in all times, I would say 90% of the time, first impressions have always been accurate. So whatever people have felt about the other person intuitively has always been proven right. So if you want people to perceive you positively, you have to ensure that you fit into the eyes and minds positively. So for doing that, you need to understand that there has to be a correlation. There is rather a correlation between image and first impression. So you project an image based on your clothes, grooming, body language and etiquette, based on which people form a first impression about you. So there is a direct correlation, although they are not, but they are correlated and very, very importantly correlated.
The biggest challenge today is online. Nowadays, you're meeting the person online first. So that impression over there makes a lot of difference also over there.
To be very honest, Sampath, if I feel that the photograph of a person is not appropriate, I don't even accept the request. So because I feel threatened. It is very important to understand that even socially, on social platform also, it is very important that you project an image which is credible. So if you are a very senior manager or the CEO or the owner of the company, but you don't project to be the same way, your picture does not come in sync with what you are projecting yourself to be in terms of your portfolio, there is a big clash and there is a big mismatch. So you need to understand that everything has to be in sync, So social media image is very important.
Very important over there.
And we do a lot of social media image consulting as well.
Okay. Fantastic, Suman. Thank you so much for being on our show. It's a pleasure over here.